Hi, everyone. Welcome to VC TV, the Venture Capital TV from La Token. So today, again, we have very new speakers on the panel, and I'm very excited. And some regular speakers. Sorry, I didn't miss you, Anil. Some regular speaker. Today's topic is about fintech in general. So I don't, even the topic says fintech and blockchain, I would say blockchain and cryptocurrencies actually fall into fintech. So let's just say fintech, okay? So it's about investments in the space. And today I have somebody from UNICEF dialing in for the first time and someone from Cambodia dialing up the first time. Before I start introducing my speakers of the day, of the evening, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Sonny Mohanty. I'm the regional director of La Token, and I'm based here in Singapore. So La Token is basically responsible for hosting VCTV, which is the Venture Capital TV. The whole idea was to help startups connect with the investor community, to help them grow, scale, get funded, get mentored, all sort of things, because they're looking to scale up in terms of growth stage startups. And obviously some already have traction, the seed stage startups. So at various stages, we help them get the much needed funding to be able to contribute to the economy, especially during the times of crisis. So that was the noble sort of thought and idea behind this platform when we actually moved this platform online in February 2020. So since then, we've been pulling really nicely. We've been really growing in size in terms of our investor community, in terms of our startup community. So yeah, so I would say this has been a very successful journey for me as the host and a moderator, alongside my team, Carol, Maria, and others, Kyle, who covers US as well. So I hosted Monday to Friday from Singapore, and this is the Asia episode of VCTV. So that's about me. That's about VCTV. I'm going to focus on the speakers of the day. So Anil, welcome back from India. So he's a regular speaker at my sessions on Asia panel as well. Anil, please start with a short introduction about yourself, then I go to the new speakers of the evening.
Sure. Thanks, Sonny. Thanks for having me. Pleasure always joining you. So this is Anil. I am from Unicorn India Ventures. We are Mumbai, India-based venture capital fund. We invest in early stage tech-focused company and have fairly decent exposure in fintech, blockchain companies, and here to share our experience. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you, Anil. I know a lot of insights from you all the time, especially fintech, and fintech is your core strength. I know that. Thank you. Today we've got new speakers, Mehran from UNICEF and Riti from Cambodia. I was going to be talking about his startup as well as his venture arm as well. So he's wearing two hats. But basically, I'd like to start with Mehran first. Hi, Mehran. Welcome to VCTV. How are you today?
Hey, Sonny, thank you for having me. I'm doing well.
Great,
I
great. So, Mehran, since you're joining us for the very first time, please help introduce yourself. Tell a little bit more about yourself. What are you doing? Because UNICEF blockchain product manager would like to know more, a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I'm here. So my name is Moran. I'm currently a product manager at UNICEF Innovation. So UNICEF normally responds to emergencies around the world to help children deal with a variety of different things, whether it's in the education space, in the nutrition space. And we realize that emerging tech has a pretty big role to play in aiding how UNICEF delivers its services. So the team that I work on is an innovation team, and we look at a variety of different technologies, including blockchain, machine learning, drones, augmented reality, etc. And so I work specifically on the blockchain team. We have three principles that we follow. We are doing prototyping and implementation, we do advisory, and we do learning. And so we have country offices around the world, and a lot of them are engaging with blockchain technologies in different ways, and a lot of them are at different stages. And so my role can range anywhere from helping country offices implement their own projects. We're doing stuff at HQ, building our own prototypes to see how UNICEF might interact with cryptocurrencies and blockchain. And then we're also facilitating workshops with different UN agencies, different groups at UNICEF to get them ramped up on blockchain and cryptocurrency.
That's fantastic. We'd like to know more. And UNICEF is in blockchain and crypto. I mean, you've got Gary as well here. With everyone knows Gary. Anyways, I'm going to come to him later. He's a machine learning AI. Gary, hi. We got Meran from UNICEF. Like he's from New York. You're from.
Oh wow! Nice to meet you. Nice to see everybody today.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, same. Welcome to VCTV. I'm going to come back to you, Gary and Lewis, the US speakers. We have a new speaker on our panel today, Riti from Cambodia for the very first time. Hi, Riti. Welcome to VCTV. This is the Singapore, the Asia episode of VCTV. Can you please help introduce yourself? What do you do in the space? Thank you.
Hi everyone, thank you Sonny for having me. My name is Riti Tol. I am co-founder of Small World. Small World is a seed funding company for early stage startup in Cambodia. I started in 2011. Then around 2-3 years ago, we started to do experiment on venture building when we could not find enough startup to the level where we want to work with. So on the side, we still help improve the startup from community and work with international investors that want to invest in Cambodia, tech startup. But at the same time, we build our own internal venture building. And at this point, we started from 2017, 16, 17. At this point, we have built 5 internal venture company, one of which I now join full-time. It's a tech company, but involved a little bit into the payments and blockchains use case when it comes to internet and Wi-Fi sharing in school. So this company called Kumpi, we work with high school, not around Cambodia yet, but 13, 14 school, and we set up Wi-Fi infrastructure for students to use Wi-Fi instead of using 4G, because 4G would cost them about $4 a month, and then if Wi-Fi would cost them about $1.25 per month. So it saved them a lot of money, and they learn how to use token to buy internet credit. The other ones, which build the blockchains itself based on top of substrate Polkadot, aim to help boost the other use case around the startup that we venture build. And there's an electric bike that now sold in Cambodia for over 100 bikes, and we have ordered to be in Spain. We built on this project for like 2 years before, and then COVID started. Suddenly, European market want to buy electric bike, and now we are shipping 200 for first trial to Spanish market. The other one, which is the core project that we want to do, is natural resource tokenization. We bought a piece of land of 100 hectares in the mountain and try to do reforestation for 85%. And then the rest will do ecotourism activities and natural farming. All of this build on top, build with the 2 projects, the educational company, the computer software company, and then the blockchain that will help enable the activity that we work around. And so far, actually this year, we only invest in 2 small companies outside of the venture building. And this is basically my everyday job so far.
Excellent. There are too many things going on in Cambodia. I didn't know of that, to be honest. I mean, is it all in Cambodia, all your operations, or somewhere like else in Southeast Asia? Or
currently, it's only in Cambodia. Although we test a few markets, like we go to Japan, and then there's some South African and Nigerian market. But it's a bit far away, and this year my health has not been giving me a good time to do things more than just Cambodia. So I decided to take a bit slower and then basically master the market in Cambodia first. And it's big enough. It's just to think about computer alone, the notebook computer. is we have more than 3 million users that are ready to use the computer that we build. And this is enough market for now, for this year and next year.
Okay, absolutely. I think health is first. Health comes first. Only if you are in good health, you can do many things, right? Thank you so much, Ricky, and please take care of yourself. We would like to see you more on our panels. Thank you, and welcome to VCTV. All righty, thank you. So this brings me to Louis next.
All right, I'm not forgotten. I like it. Just a quick skinny on me. I mean, I'm the managing partner of FJ Partners. We're focused on artificial intelligence, machine learning, blockchain, AR, VR. We have, portfolio companies that are involved in these spaces. We have a lot of interesting things that are coming out. And basically, look, I enjoy these panels because you get to meet different people and you have different technologies that are coming out. We heard from Cambodia, you have interesting things that are happening, and it's always good to hear this stuff. So I'm interested in hearing what everyone has to say, and I appreciate the time. And if people want to find out more about me, just go on Google. You'll find a whole bunch.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, and welcome to VCT. By the way, viewers, Louis and Gary has been regular speaker every day. Especially Louis has been with me since last 2-3 weeks, if I can remember correctly. And welcome.
And I do it just because for you and Minnie, but also because it's educating people, sharing our knowledge. That's our obligation. We need to do that.
Absolutely. It's creating an impact on the society and the world. Fantastic. Last but not least, Gary.
Yeah, so here. So Rithi, I just wanted you to know, I actually was a brand ambassador for Mahindra, for Gen Z, their electric bike group. And I actually have 14 bikes. I just last week got the latest e-bike on the planet. It's a giant Explorer 2.0. It actually sold out. My understanding is sold out for the whole year or in 1 week. So I actually have a stable of 14. In fact, I was just riding my e-bike. So the newest one. So I know a bit about them. I know, I use Yamaha motors on them. So if you ever have any conversation, that's my hobby. So this is an AI.
Me too.
I'm very.
That's very cool to hear. Actually, we have the bike we build is a classic bike. We want people to ride bicycle to work and don't have to be so fancy, and also very, very low cost. It's only $500 to $900 per unit. That's what we sell to Spanish market.
Interesting.
$900 US dollars.
Yeah, but the Spanish partner, I think they will sell over €1,000 in Spanish market. Because we don't cover the export costs and other duty costs. We only sell them at the cost from Cambodia and help them ship to Spain, and they take care of all the costs. So for Spanish market, Spanish people, they have to pay a bit more for that.
Interesting. Anyhow, sometime we'll have offline. Anyhow, my name's Gary Fowler. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've been doing startups for 35 years, 16 companies. I own one of the top venture studios. We just listed as one of the top 10 worldwide. Get Shit Done Venture Studios. I've had 2 unicorns. I was involved in the original management team of Click Software, which is sold to Salesforce for $1.35 billion. I also am the co-founder of Yva.ai, which is near unicorn status today. I've written 80 articles on artificial intelligence. I speak at places all over the world. I just did a keynote at a law school on AI. I lived in Russia 14 years, and I've worked throughout Central Asia. So I started the first accelerator in Russia, and I started the #1 corporate private accelerator. I was a co-founder of that. So I'm passionate about AI, love VCTV, love Sonny. Louis is here. It's great to see everybody and connect. And I think that this is a phenomenal platform during this, especially during the digital transformation, to be able to get ideas out, share ideas, and look for funding. So it's really good.
Excellent. Thank you, Gary. I mean, I have to say, this is obviously family. I say VCTV family, to be very honest, because as I said, when I didn't see you both, like Gary and Louis, I was literally worried, like, why they're not here? It's not complete. Same with Anil as well, because you've been the regular speaker that was pinging on LinkedIn. So Gary,
Truth be told, I was, I had things to do. I was going to bail, but then I thought about you and I thought about Gary. I said, I can't do that. I can't do that. Okay, I got to see Mr. Forbes. I got to see Miss Sunny D. We have this is the important stuff.
I'm the co-chairman. I don't know if you have American Chamber of Commerce in Cambodia, but I'm the co-chair of the Innovation and Technology Committee for AmCham and Russia. And so so I was putting together an event. I've been the co-chair for 20 years. So I was actually putting together an event with Noble, one of our other speakers, and Irina Litchfield. So we're going to speak at a committee meeting. So that's what I was doing. So
right. They are again regular speakers and family, a VCTV family. So great, awesome, fantastic. So we have people from all over the world today. Again, a very, very global panel from India, Cambodia, Singapore, US, various parts of the US as well. The US is very huge. So thank you so much for that introductions. So we're all set with introductions for those new viewers who just been tuning into VCTV just recently. So it's good, all set. So today's topic is about investments in fintech. I wouldn't say blockchain, because blockchain is not actually separate from fintech anymore. Because I live in Singapore, I'm very much in Asia. I'd like to start with some stats about Southeast Asia. So according to Southeast Asia Deal Review, the Q3 2020, so the latest report by Deal Street Asia, the startups based in the region raised at least 1.8 billion in funding in the third quarter this year. This is a drop by 34% quarter on quarter and close to 40% year on year. The impact of the pandemic was also reflected in the deal count, which declined to 151 from 184 in the previous quarter. However, on a year-on-year basis, deal volume in the third quarter, which is Q3, was an improvement over the same period last year. Early stage startups, particularly those focused in fintech and health tech, continue to draw investor interest. That said, the median value of investments dropped across seed to Series C rounds as investors sought lower valuations. Triggered by a dramatic change in how consumers access healthcare during the pandemic, health tech replaced e-commerce as one of the two top sectors in terms of deal count in the third quarter, which is Q3. And fintech continue to lead the pack. So these are some of the trends in investments in Southeast Asia. So let's hear it out from our speakers from what's happening in other parts of the world. I'd like to start with Mehran from UNICEF first. Hi, Mehran. Just give us a perspective from your point of view. What's happening in the space, especially because you are a product manager of blockchain representing UNICEF.
Yeah, so a lot of people don't know, but UNICEF Innovation actually has an investment team. So we have a $20 million fund, and every year I think we invest in 50 to 100 startups in different emerging tech areas. We had a blockchain cohort a few months ago graduate. Essentially, when a startup comes to UNICEF and they get investments, they stick around with us for a year. We'll connect them to future opportunities, and then we also connect them with different UNICEF offices around the world for them to build out their prototype with UNICEF teams on the ground. So initially that fund was in US dollars. So we would give them up to 100K in funding. They would give us a project plan, and then we would meet with them every month to help them build out designs or their platform further, or get connected with more people in the ecosystem. So the companies that we funded initially were all over the world. We had companies in Latin America, some in Asia, and they just wrapped up, and now they're getting follow-on funding. And typically what we do, it's very early stage, and so we'll connect them with different venture opportunities to get follow-on funding. Some of the funding opportunities are blockchain specific, some of them manage other types of startups as well. Over the summer, we did another call for applications for the next blockchain cohort. This time, we not only did our funding in fiat currencies, but we also introduced funding opportunities in crypto. And so UNICEF established a crypto fund last year, and we made some investments into our existing cohort in Bitcoin and Ether. And this year we're ramping it up. So we have the Ethereum Foundation as an anchor donor, and we just received some Ether to make follow-on investments for this new cohort. And so when we did ask these startups to complete their RFP with us, we asked them to identify how much of the funding you want in US dollars, how much of the funding you want in Ether or Bitcoin. And then we're currently reviewing the applications, but we had over 500 applications from around the world apply. And I think over 60% of them were looking for funding in both US dollar and in cryptocurrencies as well. And so that was interesting. It is new territory for us, so I can't say how it compares to last year. But it was really exciting to see more than 50% of the startups asking for both US dollars and cryptocurrencies. And then also they also had to identify what kind of things they wanted to fund with the cryptocurrencies. And they're doing everything from paying vendors to paying employees. So it's interesting to see people opt in for this alternative payment method.
Yeah, so that brings to my next question. Like, why would UNICEF be interested to develop a crypto fund? Is it because the demand you saw from the startups, or was it something always in the mind?
There's a lot of different things that our team is looking into. So our Office of Innovation, we keep tabs on various emerging tech, but then we also have our UNICEF country offices reach out to us and they're like, hey, we have people that are interested in using cryptocurrencies. We have people that are interested in using smart contracts and that kind of thing. So I think the Ethereum Foundation approached us and they're like, hey, we've spoken to some people in various countries. They're interested in receiving funding in Ether so that they can test out X, Y, and Z. And so UNICEF's interested in twofold. Our Office of Innovation is fairly small. We're like 30 to 40 people at any given time. And so our capability to test out, write smart contracts, deploy web apps, try out different blockchain solutions is fairly limited. And so the startups that we bring on board allow us to explore much more aggressively per se. And so, our initial cohort, we had 6 startups. Some of them were working with blockchain A, some of them were working with a different blockchain. They were doing different use cases in different regions as well. And so UNICEF gets to learn a lot faster through the startups. And some of the startups actually, become a part of UNICEF's core delivery service per se. And so
interesting.
Mutually beneficial exploration when we're able to invest and grow with these startups.
Absolutely. As you rightly said, mutual beneficial exploration. Thank you for that insights, Maran. I'd like to move next to Riti. Riti, what's happening? Because obviously you gave us an overview about your company and incubation as well. But besides that, what's happening in the fintech space from a Cambodia or Asia perspective?
Yeah, so I don't know very much about Asia in perspective. I know some in Cambodia. In fintechs, it's an explosion. The fintechs and e-commerce, there's a big explosion about that. So there's one payment company received, I think, $2 million investment. There's one big e-commerce received $5 million last year, and another of their sister company in media though received 2.5 million later. So in the last 2 years, 2019 and 2020, we have many startups that receive investment, both local from local investors and the external investor from Singapore or China. So this is the current investment landscape in Cambodia, and it looks like it's going to grow a lot more beside the pandemic is happening. We are looking at a different fundraising campaign to invest more into startups that work in blockchain space. So we're starting to encourage. Actually, we started to do a live stream education about blockchains, and especially with Polkadot and Substrate, the new technology that just released. So we are building on top of that, and we educate more people to build on it. We test a few projects. One is the computer company as a stock option for our staff, because we have a limited funding in our company, and I don't want to put more money from small world. So we issue a big round of stocks in blockchain. So Kumpi is basically run on the blockchains, and we reserve about 30% of the total token, which a pi number 3.14 billion token total, equal to 100% of Kumpi. Nobody outside of Kumpi noticed yet, no government official noticed yet, but all our 40 members know about this, and every month they get paid in cash and in token, as opposed to if they take a whole month salary. Let's say if they get $700 a month, and in Cambodia it's a lot, but in the US might be not very much. So if they receive $800 a month, and then they're willing to say accept 500 for their living expense, and then 300 is in token, then we value a company at a certain stage as an valuation, and then pay them in this token, and it's all run on the blockchain. Test this, and another project run on top of basically this project called Selendra, and this Selendra blockchain is issuing this token for other project that inside small world venture building. And one project is the Vitamin Air. So Vitamin Air project, we try to do creative financing within our community, as opposed to basically looking for funding outside, because it's so difficult now to look for funding outside. So this is a real estate company, but more of a natural resources protection. We bought 110 hectares of land, and now we are tokenized about 40 hectares, being in the process at the moment, tokenized 40 hectares per square meter base. For example, one square meter equal to 100 token. And then now we prepare to sell this to local investors. This is fully legal.
So the tokens are cryptos, right? When you say tokens,
yeah, it's a crypto. Yeah,
so what, is it Ethereum, or is it Bitcoin, or is it?
So we design a new token that run on top of not run on top of Selendra. Now it's still this one is still in the testnet.
Right.
We prepare to launch this by the end of this year, early next year, so that we can raise more money to buy more land in the area. In the end, we do carbon financing from the reforestation project of that land.
Okay, so basically in Cambodia, you don't have any issues with cryptos. I mean,
there is, but it's in gray area. So nobody really say it is legal or illegal. But we cannot promote it. We cannot promote cryptocurrency, blockchains. We can promote blockchain, but we cannot promote cryptocurrency. For example, Bitcoin. But you can buy and sell on your cost. But we can do tokenization.
Right.
So
great insights. I'm going to come back more questions for you, because I'm just conscious of the time, other speakers as well. Anil, which area do you would like to touch upon today? Because obviously you've spoken about fintech before on our panel. Just tell me a topic that you like to talk about today.
So I'll cover fintech only.
Yeah.
So let me give you, some statistics. So before that, like we launched our second fund, third fund, in group. last year fag end, and we had earmarked around 25% of the corpus will go on fintech.
Right.
And we launched our fund just before world started going in lockdown, and we made 6 investments till date from lockdown till date. And out of 6 investments, 3 investments are in fintech, right? So 50% is the current run rate. The last 5 deals, what I have evaluated, came across several. Of course, we don't look at e-commerce and all. 5 deals, what I have evaluated, all were from fintech side.
Right.
This is my fourth event today. I attended one Middle East event which was on blockchain. I participated in demo day which was all on fintech. I participated another graduation day, all women entrepreneurs, very unique, and I found around 30, 35, 40% in fintech,
Right.
right?
Been a busy
So
day
what is
today.
happening? Oh yeah, so I'm sure same is with Gary and Lewis. Life have become really look, work from home. I don't know what's happening to productivity, but what I'm trying to say that this current situation have opened up a lot of opportunity for fintech opportunities, right? Because people need to transact,
Yeah.
people need to do business, right? In current situation, another unless until you have physical activity, right?
Mhm.
All things are happening from home, or you are trying to get things done digitally, right?
Right. Yeah.
For example, we are doing this, we all are at a respective place, none of us commonly in any studio, right?
Yeah.
I've participated in several live TV chat where you become part of proper studio setup. So
Yeah.
the current situation have opened up a lot of opportunity for newer solution, new way to do business, right? We
Right.
are seeing new way of transacting payment solutions. India, such a large, second largest population. We have so many mom and pop hyper local stores, and now because of people's inability or not willingness to move out of their home, people need to transact, and that has actually taken up all hyper local stores online, right? So now people are coming up with solutions which enabling all this stores to go online. Now when they go online, there is also room for transacting. Many businesses are done on credit, many businesses need finance. So I'm seeing host of new solutions, right? We are already invested in you know two new banks in India.
Yeah.
Incidentally, one is the largest, and first mover advantage, where we are the one of the lead investor.
Right.
And today morning, the first call I did with entrepreneur, which was on fintech side, turned out to be somewhere on neo banking side. Why it is happening? Because the banking infrastructure everywhere is evolving, right? There are too many regulatory challenges, and because of digitization, the age what this new age businesses are offering to banks to enable their customers to have seamless experience dealing with their own money, right? And to deal with opportunities is opening up new opportunities, right? And hence I see the fintech probably would be the flavor at least for next couple of years, right?
Right.
Or maybe half of the decade. That's my view. So I'll not be surprised if at fund level we'll end up doing at least 40% on fintech. So that's my view, quite bullish on fintech. And of course blockchain, we have first investment. Let's see
Absolutely.
if we are able to find more and more application which are driven by blockchain. Would be happy to explore. That's my
Thank you
view.
so much. Thank you so much for those views, Anil. I think Meheran can add because he's developing blockchain-based product later on. I can come to you, Meheran, later on. So, when it comes to Lewis and Gary, besides AI, I also have SPAC investments in my
Oh, here
list.
we go. You're going down. You're going down my path. You're my wheelhouse now. Um, if I can just touch on fintech for a second, brick and mortar, the traditional brick and mortar banks, they're changing. They have to adopt to utilizing technology, blockchain and other types of technology to protect, not to protect their position, but also allow customers the ability to be mobile and secure in their transactions. Right now, millennials and Gen Zs, they account for about half the population in the world. Okay,
Yeah.
especially in the U.S. In the U.S., you have 30% of millennials and Gen Zs that comprise the consumers. So, and that's going to continue to grow as the baby boomers, winding down, and that generation will be the consumers of tomorrow, and they're mobile. They are driving, mobility. They're driving digital payments. They're driving fintech. And people have a misconception. They think that fintech is okay. You have to create the next Square. No, you have different areas that you can create. Banking, Citigroup, Wells Fargo, JP Morgan. They're adopting blockchain in a lot of different areas. Okay, it's not just one. Hey, I have one blockchain. That's it. No, they're adopting it in their accounting because it's an old accounting method that has been utilized and embraced now. It's been around for a while, but they're doing that. Security, I mention this all the time. Security, like with mobile payments, I mentioned this on another show with
Yeah.
you, that you have 1 billion transactions that are going to be occurring. Transactions, not dollars, transactions. That's about 2.7, maybe 2.75 trillion. They're looking, the forecast for 2023, as far as the money that's going to be pouring into mobile payments. When you're doing that, your security is a big problem, because right now banks, all banks, okay, they're registering, I think it's somewhere in the vicinity of about $34 billion in credit card losses, because the security, you have fraud, and they're fighting fraud. So technology helps with that. And there's something called EMV chip technology. That's something that's been used in Europe for a while, that does Europay, MasterCard, and Visa. And what it allows banks to do, to every transaction you do, and it's interesting, and you want to hear this, you perform a transaction, you go buy a pack of gum, and you use your card. What happens, that transactional code after that disappears, and then you get a new one. So
Right.
someone can't take that to go and hack. They can't take that to go steal your identity, steal your information. That's one of the ways they're mitigating the risk, and they're using preventive measures to help protect the public, help protect the consumers. And companies that are involved in this area, there's going to be a big opening. So, when people think fintech, they think, oh, it's Square, or it's on the crypto one is Bitcoin or Ether or whatever it is. No,
Yeah.
there are other parts. If you create and create those little parts, they fit into a bigger puzzle. And this is when your big institutions, get interested in it. And I just want to go through that, because that is a part of fintech, and people should look at not the macro, look at the micro, look at what's happening around, because this stuff is going to be very important, and it's here to stay. It's going to continue to grow, and trust me, in the next few years, we're going to see more digital payments than physical. How many people carry cash in their pocket now? I used to, you carry a wad. Now you're lucky to have, $2 in your pocket. Everything is in digital. So it's a change that's going to continue to evolve over time.
Absolutely agree. And because of coronavirus, I think it has accelerated a lot, because
Yeah.
I used to maybe have some cash in my wallet before, but because of the scare, totally gone digital, because even my grocer, like the grocery shops here, they don't accept cash.
Yeah.
You know?
And just you mentioned SPACs, just to touch on that really quickly. I don't want to take too much time, but special purpose acquisition companies, they're becoming more prominent now. They've been around a long time. Reverse mergers have been around forever, and right now, when the private equity is getting involved in this in a heavy way now, and you're going to see more of this. And this is going to be prevalent in the fintech industry, because these technologies are going to be there. So these companies, they're looking for deal flow. They're
Yeah.
looking for deal flow to bring value, and they take these companies public, and it's going to change the whole IPO process, and it's very interesting.
Yeah, actually, the reason I brought SPAC, because Louis, I was reading an article today about fintech, and the first thing that popped up as an article from PitchBook was 9 things 2020 spectacular like not spectacular, but yeah, spectacular keeps getting crazier. So that was an article that I read when I was actually Googling or browsing about fintech investments.
Well,
so there you go.
it's going to continue to be something, and I'm glad you're bringing these topics up, because it's important for the viewers of VCTV to learn this stuff and not just hear the general things. This is what I bring to the table, and hopefully it's helpful.
Absolutely. I came to know SPAC only because of you and Gary. Thank you so much. Next time, move to Gary. Last but not least, Gary, over to you.
Yeah, sure. So I think the SPACs it's interesting, right? It's interesting, although, I'm cautiously optimistic, because when you're forming a company that has nothing in it, to be able to acquire another company at 80% of the value of the SPAC, and, they're raising hundreds of millions of dollars. So it's interesting. I mean, there's reverse IPO, there's all kinds of things, but it's really interesting. So, and I have some, I've been involved in some alternative investment vehicles with some very high net worth individuals. So I'm actually CEO of one of those kind of groups. So it's interesting. Any way you can raise money, if there's a way to raise it and there's a benefit to society. So what I want to tell you is that, really about the convergence of AI and blockchain, and not a lot of people talk about it. So AI can really help the blockchain by optimizing the energy consumption and, make it a lot more efficient and a lot more secure. So when we're looking at it, everybody says blockchain, 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 but sometimes they forget that artificial intelligence is really, one of the keys, because homomorphic capabilities where you can actually use encrypted data using artificial intelligence in an entirely different way. And then being able to create ledgers through virtual agents, which you can't do. So like I say many, many times, AI is the new electricity, and blockchain provides a lot of security. The other side of it is AI is based on training data, and the training data needs to be secure. So blockchain could provide AI with that secure training data. And the other thing, it's critically important. We have all these autonomous agents, all these chatbots out there, but there's no audit trail. So blockchain could provide an audit trail for those virtual agents, and it's critically important. And I have not heard a lot of people talk about that. So the convergence is there. As you know, Sonny, I say, AI is literally everywhere, and it's going to be in our lives. First of all, it's going to be smart, and then it's going to be intelligent, and it's really going to help us to be able to predict where we need to go and then make the decisions for us. It'll be that good. So the companies, the startups that are in your audience today, from Cambodia, from all over Southeast Asia. By the way, I'm going to be on a version of Shark Tank in Bangladesh. I'm one of the judges.
Wow.
So just FYI, so I'm going to be on TV and this new, I can't say exactly what it's going to be, but it's just coming up now. So
is it because of the panel yesterday? Khalid welcomed you into his.
I mean, they've been talking to me for a month. So I decided I wanted to do it, and I figured I could help, and I wanted to get more involved in that area. Anyhow, so the startups that are out there, there are enormous opportunities in artificial intelligence. Curate that talent. Look where you can apply those technologies. It's going to happen in fintech. It's going to happen in all kinds of other banking applications. It's going to happen across the board. Health, it doesn't matter. And blockchain. So wherever there's blockchain, artificial intelligence can go with it. Make sure that you're talking to, because when you talk about conversions, that's where there start to be really exciting opportunities. I hear blockchain, 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 but how many times do you hear AI and blockchain? Not many.
Not many, absolutely. But you've given us a very good point and a very good insight. AI is the new electricity, and blockchain is a security.
Exactly.
That's the combination of the two technologies.
This is, what's happened is, Sonny, our opportunities, the opportunities have been democratized. Really, think about it, because we talk about decentralization. So I wrote the article, Nikola Tesla's dream comes true, the democratization opportunities, in Forbes like 3 weeks ago. This is it. I mean, that's what's happening. Now we have to democratize it, but we have to be secure when we democratize it. That's what happens when you have AI and blockchain.
Absolutely. Absolutely. For all our speakers, for all our startups and founders, there you go. AI is not anything totally different from blockchain in the sense, I mean, obviously their functionality is different, but they can go hand in hand. And obviously you have to find a way to bring them together and provide that solution, right?
Yeah.
That's the beauty. The convert. Yeah, exactly.
They need to be intelligent. The thing is, when you need to bring intelligence in, there's a lot of BS about AI. People don't know about, they say, oh, I have AI and it's really algorithmic math, but really dive into it. Knowledge graphs, variational autoencoders, ladder networks, semi-supervised, unsupervised AI. That's where it is. I just wrote an article about AI with emotions. We actually, at Yva, my company I co-founded, we have like 19 patents in AI. This is the future. The future is, how do I build compassion into the system? How do I make some decisions just like a human would make that are compassionate? Elon Musk says on one side of it, he's afraid about AI. Well, you're afraid because you have nasty. If you have a kid and you abuse a kid or a dog, they get nasty, right? You got to be fair and just and right and nurture them. The same thing with AI.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Very good analogy there. Gary, that's why I really love to have you on my panel because of the creativity, is at a different level. And I just love that. I love that. The way you.
Thank you very much.
And I just want to add something, Gary. I'm glad that you touched on the different brackets of AI, because people have a misconception thinking they don't even know what AI is. They just clump it in one bowl, but there's so many different areas of it. Yeah. And the emotion part, that's going to be critical in the future, because if you have emotionless, things that are coming at you, they're not going to. It's going to be a disaster. So that's going to be a big deal.
Sonny, I just wrote an article in Forbes that's just being published on AI and quantum computing, and quantum computers are 100 million times, up to 100 million times faster than a conventional computer. Now imagine what the possibilities are, right? For blockchain, for AI, it's a whole new world.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Gary and Louis, for that. I'd like to know from Aaron now some of the successful startups that you can share with us, like use cases or examples that are pivoted or done something magically different during the pandemic that you like to share with us.
Sure. To Gary's point, I think technology has brought an excellent democratization of opportunity. And I'll speak on like three big startups that recently graduated from our cohort that are currently working in Southeast Asia and Latin America. So in UNICEF Innovation, our two big initiatives right now, one is called Giga. And so Giga, the idea there is to bring internet connectivity to schools around the world, which would ultimately imply that the regions around the school would also be connected. And then the other one is to create a kind of community of open source solutions that can further enable the communities that we're looking to connect. And so three startups that recently graduated from our portfolio. The first one is called W3 Engineers. So they're a startup out of Bangladesh. And what their initial focus was to help refugees coming from Rohingya in Bangladesh to get some sort of mobile connectivity. So as they were ending up in refugee camps, some of them had phones, some of them had phones with internet, and they needed a way to leverage that ecosystem to have people communicate in a more effective manner. Right. So they needed a way to transfer data in a secure manner. They needed to create some kind of economy with blockchain to kind of, people with internet were selling other people internet in this kind of small new economy. And so that's one that I wanted to mention. And, we're working with them now through UNICEF Bangladesh and some other initiatives as well. And we ultimately see that feeding into the initiative around getting schools connected. The other ones that I'll mention, so there's two that are focusing on bringing more transparency to supply chains. I think this is more relevant to our COVID-19 situation. So there's Statwig out of India. And what they're looking to do is to bring more transparency to how UNICEF distributes vaccines in countries. And so UNICEF is actually one of the largest purchasers of vaccines in the world. I think they have more than 1 or 2/3 of all the total vaccines. And then one of UNICEF's roles is to distribute that in the countries. And so what happens though is once it hits a country, the transparency and how it's actually ending up to the child or the person that's using it becomes unclear. And so Statwig's been working aggressively over the summer to ensure that when vaccines are being distributed, it actually ends up where it needs to be. And then the last one that I'll mention is a startup out of Mexico, Prescripto, and they're applying the principle of the double spend issue that Bitcoin solved, but for prescriptions. And so instead of having people spend prescriptions in more than one place, having been fulfilled more than once and kind of gaming the system, Prescripto looked at ways to leverage Bitcoin's code to ensure that doctors and pharmacists can distribute, I guess, prescriptions without them being double spent and gamed in the system. And so those are the 3 that I'll highlight for now that are somewhat relevant.
So Miran, the last startup in Mexico is a crypto startup. Is it basically because these countries are more pro-crypto, or because obviously their national currency is weak? That's why more crypto adoption, and that's why UNICEF is focusing on that side, crypto side in these countries? What's
so these so Prescripto doesn't use crypto to represent the prescription. They use the code that represents, say, Bitcoin, but instead of representing value, they're representing a prescription. And so when so when a pharmacist issues the prescription, then the customer redeems it, they can't redeem it again. That's kind of the issue that they were trying to solve.
Got it. So they can't redeem the prescription again. Okay, that's the business objective. Okay, cool.
Prescripto did receive funding in crypto. And so I guess in Mexico, they're able to accept crypto as a currency, and then they're able to pay their employees with that currency. And I'm not sure that it's completely aligned with the strength of their currency. I think it's more aligned to them being open to exploring digital currencies and seeing how they can innovate and learn alongside how the cryptocurrency or blockchain space is evolving more than anything.
That's a very good use case. Actually, I have startups from Brazil who are actually partners to us, and they're doing something similar, which I can discuss one-on-one with you later after this show is over. Thank you so much, Miran, for sharing those 3 beautiful stories with us. Thank you. Riti, over to you. Any similar stories coming from your side? We just have to be a little quick as well because of the time.
Yeah. First of all, I'd like to talk to the team from Giga, so that maybe we can work with them to push the internet throughout Cambodia. That's what one of our initiatives too. We want to have every school connected to the internet, and all the villages around the school also connect to internet. We currently do our own funding to test certain school, but if Giga has more, better way to do things and other resources, connectivity better than what we do currently, we build our own mesh network, run on Raspberry Pi and our own OS. Anyway, if you have
sure,
please connect me.
Collaborate for sure.
Please reach out and I can connect you with the Giga team.
Yeah,
great.
Okay.
That's the whole idea about VCTV.
Yeah, so in Cambodia, we have not many things like that happening yet. At the moment, I think the best I can present, or I can tell you, is that we are trying to educate the next wave of entrepreneur, because the first wave of entrepreneur was started very rough, in a very bumpy road. And so currently, I think we have less than 50 good startups being in operation, and the new wave will bring along hundreds more. That might take about 1 to 2 years from now. And this is what we are trying to do, is to freeze some of our funding to test the first several good companies to work with us. And most of the startups that we will work with will be more high-tech related to this AI, blockchain, and all that. I don't want to speak so much about this what we call bubble word or word in bubble.
What? What's
That
that?
I mean, a lot of people speak about blockchain and AI here too in Cambodia, and they don't know anything about it. They don't really invest their time to learn.
Right.
So we want to work with startup that actually building stuff that in a good use case and test in the real world, solve real world problem. Yeah, so that's what we have now. Not really as excited as what Meron just explained about all of these company around the world, which is
Sure.
very exciting. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I'm going to connect you both later after the show, and we can have another panel to discuss more. How did it go, the collaboration go? Thank you, Riti, and thank you, Karan, for that. Anil, over to you now. Any new success story that you're going to share that happened recently during the pandemic?
So there are many, right? In last 8 months, I think have learned a lot. But today, I know I would like to share something which is more on survival and revival,
Sure.
right? Because in last 8 months, I just came across one report today,
Yeah.
which is talking about most of the startups are going through tough phase, right? For two
Yeah.
reasons: one,
Sure.
they are losing out on business, and second, they are running out of cash. And we have one company which is in smart appliances, and they are very high end, very complex products they do, which is in a combination of all your mechanical, electrical, electronics, embedded, and then they also add your IoT, and Internet of Thing. And because of pandemic, and they also had dependence on some supply from China, right? So one, inability to move and not able to get supplies on time.
Yeah.
I felt that literally they will be dry for last 8 months, and I was expecting them to not to have any revenue for next 8 months.
Right.
And to my surprise, they not only survived, but also revived, because they did almost twice business what they did in during normal, and not to do anything what with their actual product line, right? So they evaluated their strength, and they realized that their team, bunch of team who could solve complex problem.
Right.
And they as you rightly said, that VCTV is all about connecting, right? You are connecting two people. They networked well, they showcase their interest and strength, and incidentally they were able to get complex problem, and give solution to OEMs and industry. And they came out with very small innovative stuff, and that helped them not only survive, but also build sufficient cash which they can now use to do their main product, right? So I thought I'll share this with, because it is always easy to sit back and not do anything and keep blaming current situation. But this bunch of 15 20 guys who not
Yeah.
only use this to do something different, and certainly surprised me the kind of contract currently they're working with one of a leading bank in Middle East, and building a very complex software product for them, right? And this team only smart appliances, right? So that's how you revive, right? And now they will
Yeah.
survive.
Excellent. Thank you, Anil, for that
So this is
success.
what I just wanted to share, right, in interest of time. Yeah.
Yeah, of course, because it's very important for the other founders to know such stories, because as an investor, you would have expected them to go bust, like totally go dry, but they just surprised you in a very, good way, and just came as witness. I mean, these are the kind of stories that other founders would like to hear from investors like yourself, so that they can get inspired, especially during these times. Thank you so much for sharing that story with us. Just conscious of the time, I'd like to go with Louis next. Louis, what's happening? What's the future ahead? I just want to know your
The
perspective.
future's bright. The future's bright on all levels. I just want to say that anyone on the panel, Rithi, Moran, Anil, and Gary knows this. You can connect with me. We may not do business, but if I can help you in any way, I'm always willing to do that and open up the lines of communication and collaborate. And that's what we're here for. Entrepreneurs that are out there that are just looking for some guidance, feel free. You can find me on Twitter, find me on LinkedIn. I get around. All right. Now the future is bright in fintech. The future is very bright in artificial intelligence, machine learning, and that area. And the companies that are in that realm, they're going to shine brightest as we move forward. Security is a big thing. Cloud security is going to explode. Keep an eye on that because that's going to explode. More companies are going to the cloud with the pandemic in front of us. So it's a new world, our new reality, our new normal. And VCTV is great. I don't want to take too much time, but I just want to say that. And you've been doing a great job, Sonny. Thank you.
Thank you, Louis. I mean, Louis and Gary are really busy people, but the kind of commitment, commitment they have to VCTV is kudos to them. Like Louis and Gary, I have to say, I just saw Gary sharing his link to his show, which is I'm going to watch later on. I can share on my social media so that everybody can watch it. I mean, I really, really, really appreciate your time and your knowledge. Not only your time, but your knowledge that you bring to VCTV. Thank you, Louis, for those focusing on the cyber cloud security to watch the space. Thank you so much for that. Last but not least, Gary, over to you. What's your take?
Yeah, no, thanks, Sonny. I know I really appreciate it. I enjoy coming here, and I like carving the time out of my schedule to do VCTV. It's very interesting, and it's very helpful. It helps me write that about topics. So, and the connections are incredible. So, if we look at it, what are the, Louis is right. This digital transformation that McKinsey said was going to happen over the next 10 years has happened in months because companies have been forced to transform. Look where we are today. I remember 5 years ago when I was one of the first Zoom users, and I got it from Eric's, the founder of Zoom's, a VC said, "Hey, try this out. I want you to try it." They were looking invested in my company, Yva. My friend, nobody wanted to use it. I would send out the links. They said, "Why do I want this? This is some kind of thing. It's going to be, it's some hackware. It's, ransomware." It was crazy. But here we are, 400 million active participants every single day around the world. Our lives have fundamentally changed. Right. And if we look at technology, look at the amount of data that fintechs, banks, credit card companies need to process all the time. They're inundated with data. So we know that in order to manage data better, we're going to need incredible tools, and we're going to need things like smart contracts. We're going to have to work smarter and more secure. That's why this convergence with AI and blockchain is incredibly important. Robotic process automation, being able to comply, looking at compliance issues is incredibly important. And then hyper-personalization. Be able to predict what kind of products a person's going to want based on aggregating a lot of data together. So you have the right product for you, financial product at the right place at the right time that meets your needs. And then the other thing is, when they go out and try to give you a loan today, there's a lot of, like we say, take a dart and, shoot and close your eyes. You don't know. But now imagine you're going to know exactly where that person's going to be so you can make a better risk analysis of their, without having to spend 3 days going through credit reports. So it happened instantly. It's already started, but it's going to even get better and better and better. So I love it. It's a great opportunity for us. The future's bright, but with the caveat, the companies that are out there should go down through and make sure that they use this time and don't sit on their hands, but get shit done, because this is a time they need to move forward.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of stuff out there. I got to tell you, Sonny. So I was in the internet boom. I started one of the first e-commerce consulting companies, the Delta Airlines, American Airlines, worked on Walmart's websites. I mean, the company was incredible. Then we went down through a bust. I did an IPO in Nasdaq. I was part of the original management team at Click Software. People said it couldn't be done. The market changed. We did it. So there's always somebody saying the negative things. The thing is, believe you can do it and get it done. That's the difference between a successful entrepreneur and somebody who wants to be a wannabe, a wantrepreneur.
Absolutely. Very good, valid points. Difference between an actual entrepreneur and a wannabe entrepreneur. Guys,
I love that.
I love that, right?
I speak, I've been reminding a lot of people about that too. I like this.
There you go. Gary's company's name, Get Shit Done, thumbs up.
Yeah.
Love that name.
Done Venture Studio, GSDVS.com. Reach out to me. You can get me on LinkedIn. I got a lot out there on the internet. You can Google my name, Gary Fowler, and AI, and you'll see me. I'd love to hear from each and every one of you, and let me know if I can help.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, speakers. Thank you, all of you today. Mehran, Retief, the new speakers on the panel, and Gary, Lewis, Anil, regular speakers. I mean, even though you're regular speakers, you always have something new to share, which is very enlightening, just not only for me, for our speakers as well, and founders as well. It's very helpful, very helpful for all the startups, all the entrepreneurs that are watching us. I mean, because they are reaching out to me asking for help. So I really appreciate you sharing those insights. So basically, entrepreneurs and startups who are planning to reach out or connect with Gary, Lewis, Anil, Riti, and Mehran, I can share their social media handles directly, or you can reach out to them via us, through us on our platform, www.latoken.com, stroke events, stroke shows, where you got different options. You can watch their shows, where you can watch them speaking, you can actually pitch to them, you can reach out to them. There are different ways of engaging with these investors. So please reach out to Carol, please reach out to Maria, reach out to me, and I'll show you different ways of engaging with these fantastic people. And for investors like yourself who like to network with like-minded people from all over the world, like Riti, just become a big fan of Gary, and Mehran and Riti are already collaborating after the show. If you want to network with like-minded people, please feel free to reach out to Carol, Maria, and I'm gonna get you on our shows. Thank you so much for your time. And lastly, I would just want to say, please stay safe and please stay connected and please watch VCTV. Thank you so much and have a great day, all of you. Bye.
Thank you.